Hello, and thank you for taking the time to learn about improving your home's indoor air quality. Let me give you a quick look at the air duct cleaning process using the professional Rotobrush air duct cleaning system. In today's airtight homes, household dust typically includes dust mites, mold, smoke film, pollen, and even animal dander. It can accumulate throughout your system's ductwork. And these contaminants recirculate with the air, potentially inflaming the symptoms of allergies and asthma, as well as decreasing the efficiency of your home's heating and cooling system. When do air ducts need to be cleaned? Well, the best way to know is through our professional RotoVision video inspection system. But cleaning is also recommended if you've recently replaced your air conditioning, if you have had your carpet, drapes, or upholstery cleaned, or if you've moved to a new or existing home, consider that construction dust or contaminants from previous owners have likely collected over time. Here's how the Rotobrush process works. Our miniaturized camera lets us see exactly where and how much contaminant has collected, and it helps us see before and after the cleaning process. Cleaning begins by removing the registers and washing them to remove cooking oils, film, and other dust-collecting substances. Then the Rotobrush goes to work. The spinning brush makes contact with the surfaces of the air ducts and accommodates all sizes and shapes of ductwork. As the brush spins, a powerful vacuum collects debris and contaminants and scrubs them from the air using HEPA filters, which remove the tiniest airborne particles. The brush is a powerful cleaner, but it's gentle and won't harm your ducts. The Rotobrush will be guided deep into the ducts, around corners, covering all surfaces. And there's little disruption in your home, since the unit is small and can be moved easily to reach all needed vents. Finally, we treat your ducts and vents with an environmentally safe and EPA-registered antimicrobial that is commonly used in hospitals and nursing homes. This unique contact cleaning method leaves your home air system fresh, clean, and virtually contaminant-free. For more information on cleaning your air ducts, ask your professional Rotobrush air duct cleaning contractor about all the ways we can improve the air quality of your home.
Welcome to the Rotobrush Headquarters and Training Center. My name's Pat Hyland. This video is designed to give you a quick start for your Rotobrush air duct cleaning service. You'll learn some great tips and techniques that will help you with all aspects of cleaning your customers' air ducts. This video is organized into chapters, but we recommend you first watch it in its entirety, and then you can refer back to individual chapters as needed. Once you gain some hands-on experience with the equipment, we invite you to come to our Certified Air Duct Training Center. Here you can learn ways to expand your cleaning skills as well as effective ways to grow your business. Okay, the first chapter deals with unpacking the Rotobrush equipment and identifying the individual components. So let's take a look. This chapter is designed to orient you to the Rotobrush equipment and accessories. Depending upon which package you purchased, some of these items may not be included. Accessory Box B is your brush box and contains all your brushes, with the exception of the single 8-inch brush that is attached to the Rotobrush hose on the machine. There are both soft and stiff bristle brushes. Soft brushes are used for all types of ductwork, including flex duct, ductboard, and sheet metal ducts. The stiff bristle brushes are only to be used on sheet metal ductwork because they are too aggressive for flex duct or fiberboard ducts. The brush size is written on the bottom of each brush hub, with the exception of the small 8-inch brush. You will use the 8-inch brush to clean the majority of smaller supply air ducts. For larger ductwork, use a brush 2 to 4 inches larger than the height of the duct. When cleaning rectangular ducts, use a brush 4 inches larger than the height of the duct. For example, in a 10-inch high rectangular duct, use a 14-inch brush. Your owner's manual provides additional tips on brush sizes and cleaning techniques. Here's how to change the brush. Walk around the hose to the button at the base of the brush. Avoid rotating the brush to access the brush button because the added torque will make the brush button more difficult to depress. Press the button with a ballpoint pen or a small screwdriver and take off the brush. To attach a brush, position the brush hub at an angle to the nozzle assembly. Depress the brush button and slide the brush down until the button snaps flush with the cable. The marketing package box contains postcards, door hangers, and brochures. The marketing instructional book provides ideas and techniques to help build your business. There's also a marketing presentation DVD and a CD that contains digital resources for creating your own marketing pieces. There are also multiple copies of the consumer marketing DVD that you can show to prospective customers interested in your air duct cleaning services. Accessory Box A contains the 35-foot-long, 1.5-inch complete hose assembly, red accessory bag, oxine fogging chemical, and finally, if purchased, the dryer vent assembly. When cleaning smaller supply ducts, wall stacks, and 4-inch bathroom ducts, use the 1.5-inch hose assembly. A larger 2.25-inch hose assembly is attached to the machine during shipping and should be used whenever possible to provide maximum airflow and vacuum power. The red accessory bag contains the following. The 6-inch cable extension helps you navigate around tight corners when used with the 8-inch brush and smaller hose assemblies. This extension can also be used with the 2.25-inch hose assembly to allow the nozzle to rest on the bottom of the air duct and more efficiently collect heavier debris. To remove the brush from the cable extension, a long, thin screwdriver should be used at the brush end. You'll also find extra pre-filter bags used to collect debris and protect the HEPA filters. The nozzle adapter transforms the Rotobrush into a HEPA shop vac. After the brush is removed, attach the nozzle adapter so that the vacuum accessories can be used. On the smaller 1.5-inch hose, you'll use the nozzle bushing for proper attachment. Note that the hose assembly includes a cable retainer that prevents the cable from sliding back into the hose when not in use. Always remove this retainer prior to attaching the hose to the machine. You'll also find a box of Oxine sanitizer. Oxine is an EPA-registered product used in treating hard surface ductwork after cleaning. Oxine will be discussed later in its own chapter on this DVD. If purchased, the dryer vent hose assembly will ship in Box A. The dryer vent hose can be attached to either of the larger hose assemblies. If used on the smaller hose, use the bushing from the nozzle adapter to ensure a tight fit. Next is the main Rotobrush box. Carefully cut out the side of the box at the corners to access the machine. Note that the Rotobrush handle needs to be installed on the carrier before removal. Squeeze the spring-loaded handle pins together to release the locking mechanism. The power and control cords for the machine, as well as the owner's manual, are located in the carrier storage compartment. The low-voltage controller is used to turn the vacuums on and off, as well as to control the direction of the brush. The Rotobrush Air Plus consists of two main components, the black carrier and the red power pod. The two components will be used together for the majority of cleaning. However, in tight spaces, such as small bedrooms, attics, or crawl spaces, the power pod can be removed from the carrier and used separately. To remove the power pod, pull the slide lock located at the rear door and rotate clockwise. The pin will lock in the out position. Simply lift the pod by the top handle to remove it from the carrier and steady it using your other hand and the front handle. The slide lock needs to remain in the out position for the pod to be reinserted into the carrier. Once the pod has been reinstalled into the carrier, re-engage the slide lock. The carrier has large rear wheels for ease in moving up and down stairs, and the front wheels are locking casters to fix the machine's position during cleaning and transport. Beneath the hinge top cover of the power pod are the machine's filters. The pre-filter bag is specifically designed to capture the larger dirt and debris from the air ducts and extend the life of the HEPA filters. Pre-filter bags should be changed when about half full. The Rotobrush Air Plus has two installed HEPA filters. When cleaning these filters, vacuum the outside with a shop vac and then blow them from the inside out with compressed air. Never clean any of the filters with water. The lid of the Air Plus is magnetically secured and is then further secured with negative pressure once the vacuums are enabled. Accessory Package C contains the fogger, 2 cases of EnviroCon, and the Rotovision. Both the process of fogging using the EnviroCon and the use of the Rotovision camera will be discussed in their own chapters later on this DVD. Lastly is the IC Cam, primarily used by HVAC contractors to inspect furnaces and other small spaces. The soft nylon case has pockets to store the accessories and flaps to access controls. In addition to the flexible inspection rods, there is an articulated rod stored in the back pocket of the case, along with the camera and a battery charger. All the rods are attached by screwing into the back of the camera. In the side pocket is 15 feet of camera cord. The battery is located in the pocket behind the 4-inch LCD monitor. There's also a cigarette lighter charger included for a mobile alternative to recharging the battery. Once fully charged, the IC cam will operate for up to 8 hours. Now let's talk about the vehicles that you're going to transport the equipment on, as well as the accessories that are needed to accomplish the duct cleaning job. And to help us today, we're going to have Scott Peterson, who's an air system cleaning specialist with NACA, as well as a certified indoor environmentalist. So, Scott, thanks for helping us today.
Absolutely.
First thing I want to talk about is first the vehicles that you can transport the Rotobrush and the accessories on.
The one we have today is a little oversized for what you typically need.
Okay, so this van, is bigger. You don't necessarily need this. What can you use? You can use station wagons, small SUVs, to regular service vans.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's talk about all the different components that we've got here and why they're packaged the way they are.
Okay, well, let's start with the Rotobrush. The Rotobrush, this handle here, it can be raised for going up and down stairs, and so this is in its resting position. This also can be removed, so it'll actually roll into the back of a station wagon or even into a deep bed pickup truck like an Avalanche.
Now, when you say roll, there's locking mechanisms on it too, right?
Yes, there's locking casters on the front. So,
okay.
You also may want to, if you are looking at some really rough roads, go ahead and tie it to the side of the machine as well.
Okay.
But
that makes
typically
sense.
the casters will be fine.
Okay.
The locking casters. Also, we have a crate here with chemicals and paints that we'll get into a little bit later today.
Okay.
And but it gives you nice visibility to do a quick inventory for what you're going to be doing.
Okay. So your chemicals and spray paints and degreasers and stuff.
And that's actually what you use the sprayer for, is your degreaser to be able to spray your registers.
Okay. Okay.
And then we also have the video inspection system back there, and along with your shop vac package.
Okay.
That has all the components, your nozzle adapters, your cable extensions, and the like.
Okay.
Okay. Then the most important tool not to forget, because if you forget it, you're not going to be able to complete much of your job in many applications, and that's your ladders.
Okay.
A 4-foot and 6-foot is really what you want to bring with you. Sometimes an 8-foot, but 4 and 6-foot are typically what you're going to need.
I could only assume with new construction being the way it is, and you'll find this as a contractor, that going out there, more higher ceilings, 10-foot, 12-foot ceilings. So when you run into vaulted ceilings, you're going to need to have the right equipment on the job. So make sure you know what you're getting into before actually going on the job.
Right.
Okay.
And also we have brushes back here. Currently they're packaged up, but they can actually be mounted on the walls just by simply picking up some magnets at your local hardware store and putting them on the side of the vehicle and attaching your magnets to it.
Well, is that the same with the brushes? I mean, not necessarily just with the brushes, but the hoses as well. Because I've seen contractors that have brought their vans up to the company and showed us how they've had them decked out, and they've used racking throughout the van. How does that happen? How do they
absolutely.
do that?
There are a lot of companies that will go ahead and just install racking in it. Like we have Regency locally here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that does modifications to vehicles. But also it could be something as simple as hose racks or for garden hoses that you buy at Home Depot. Just stick it on the side. So it really depends on what you want to do with your equipment.
And with your budget.
Exactly.
Sure, absolutely. Well, good. Well, these are just kind of like, going right off of that, you have Rubbermaid containers here. There's nothing special about these, but they house all the different tools, it looks like, and bag filters and tarps that we're going to be using on the job later today. So, and your respirators. Also, the register covers that we'll be talking about. So
absolutely. Sometimes you get register covers that are really rusty and stuff. Instead of sending the customer to Home Depot or something, you have them on there.
Okay.
And so you have an immediate sell, gives a nice finished appearance to the job.
Well, you got your tool kit. It looks pretty straightforward. You got it in a shop vac if you're not using the Rotobrush pod, but the setup and the design, you really don't need that much space, it looks like. Just having the appropriate size vehicle and the right components to go along with it. So
absolutely. And you'll change your layout as you go, as you're going to change, get added features and stuff that you're going to do, and it's just an evolution.
All right, well, good. Well, now let's get on to cleaning. When you arrive at your customer's home, remember that first impressions go a long way. It's important that your customer knows that you'll be conscientious while working in their home.
Thank you. This is
For example, we recommend wearing disposable shoe covers while working.
that. We're going to go ahead and put this in the
Take time to explain what you'll be doing and answer any questions that your customer may have.
Count all your supplies.
Next, perform a site inspection to develop a cleaning game plan. This includes finding the location of all the thermostats, registers, air handlers, and also to determine the general layout of the ductwork. All central air conditioning and heating systems have three main components. The return air ducts draw room air back into the system for conditioning. That conditioning is performed by the air handler, where the air may be heated, cooled, humidified, or dehumidified. Supply air ducts provide the filtered and conditioned air back into the room space. Filtration may occur at the return air duct openings or at the air handler itself. Understanding the layout of the ductwork is important. You will start cleaning the supply side of the air ducts, beginning with the ducts farthest from the air handler. Then clean the other supply air ducts, working progressively back towards the air handler. This ensures that the areas you have already cleaned will not be recontaminated. After inspection, get with the homeowner and review your cleaning game plan. Discuss upgrading your customers' filters to high-efficiency filters. Explain that during the cleaning process, the central air system will be turned off. In fact, we recommend de-energizing the system at the breaker box. Finally, confirm the price of the job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now, prior to cleaning the air ducts, we want to prepare the area that we're working in. For example, you have a register directly over a lamp here. You want to make sure that you have all furniture and/or home accessories away from the area that you're working in. A drop cloth is a great idea to use to make sure that you're catching any particulate, and it's a great way to show the customers you're concerned about taking care of their home.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this register off, and a battery-powered screwdriver is generally going to be your best tool for that. And you could use hand-powered ones, but they'll generally take a little bit more time. Okay, then you may find a register that is either painted, which this one is, or it may be caulked, or it may freely come off. If it is painted on or caulked, you're going to use your knife and cut from the corners in. If you go all the way off one edge, if you're to come off here, you have a good chance of marking the entire wall. Okay, once I get that off, I'm going to go ahead and either I'm going to topically clean the register and the boot opening. If there's heavy contaminants, I'm going to go ahead and mark it with a Sharpie marker. Mark this as a 1 and mark inside the ducting here as a 1 as well. That way when I go clean it outside, I'll know exactly where it goes back.
If the registers are not heavily soiled, use the Rotobrush nozzle adapter and dust brush to vacuum. You may also use a HEPA filtered shop vac. Also, vacuum out the boot area. Clean in the air duct as far as you can prior to cleaning with the Rotobrush. If you determine the register covers are going to need more aggressive cleaning, go through the house, remove those, and take them outside. All right, now that we've got the registers taken off and we've got them out here to clean, I want to talk about not only what to clean them with, but why do we clean registers, Scott?
Well, to be honest with you, it's the one thing that a homeowner or neighbor coming over is going to really notice. If they hear that the ducts are clean, the first thing they're going to do is look right up at the registers. And if there are fingerprints on them and you have gaps around it where you've cut the sealant around them and it's not sealed back up nicely, it's going to be a pretty poor image.
Let's talk about cleaning it. First of all, what type of contaminants do you actually get on a register?
Well, you can get dust, you can get nicotine. There's any multiple type of contaminants you can get. But the most important where you're going to take it outside and clean it is when you get heavy soiling. And this could happen from condensation, kitchens, bathrooms, even laundry rooms if the homeowners don't use their exhaust fans.
Okay.
And so that's where you're going to have excessive buildup. And so that's where you're going to take this outside and clean it. If it's just minor, a lot of times you can just do topical vacuuming.
Okay, with the actual shop vac attachments right at the register itself.
Exactly.
Okay, well, once it is heavy soiling like that, let's talk about cleaning it. You're going to use a product like a degreaser here, a simple green product.
Yep.
And
I would just use the heavy cleaning ratio.
Okay.
For the mix, usually it's 1-to-1.
Okay.
And but just follow the instructions for the heavy cleaning.
Okay, so you apply that right into a pump sprayer here, and maybe let's say it's 50-50, 50% water, 50% degreaser, and you'll spray it right onto the register covers. Now, After cleaning the registers, one of the notes that you've always talked about in training is having this weather stripping or this sealer right here to make sure that that's dry. Why is that?
Well, if you don't make sure it's dry, if you stick it up in the ceiling or the wall, you can have some water in there, and that can cause discoloration, even running down the wall a little bit. So you just want to make sure it's nice and dry when you put it up there.
Okay.
And it'll be hidden.
Okay. Now on the louvers as well, when you're taking a register down, it's really important to make sure that whenever you put it back up, that you have the louvers pointing the right direction into the room so that you're not blowing the air against the wall. This is really all about comfort, so make sure that you know the position of the register when you reinstall it. So sometimes cleaning isn't enough and you need to do more to it, and that's where I guess these spray paints come into place. Why do you have the white, almond, and the brown?
Those are the most common colors that homeowners have. If there's a custom color, if they want to supply the paint, then you have that option.
Okay.
But you just want to keep those on because that's going to cover 95% of everything that you run into. If it's just light covering, just regular paints. But if you have some rust spots and stuff, then that's where the kill is going to come in. You just want to make sure you get on a nice light coating. And of course, this one here is in pretty good shape, so it's not going to take a whole lot. But some of them you may have to put on a second coat.
What about if you want to sell new registers?
Well, to be honest with you, if they're in really rough shape, then that's going to be your most time-effective means.
So just pick those up at your local store and carry some different sizes on your trucks, I would assume.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into cleaning. Let's start cleaning air ducts. First, turn on the vacuum switch. Make sure you don't turn on the brush before you actually insert the brush into the air duct. Otherwise, contaminants could release back into the area. Once you have the vacuum on and the brush is inserted into the air duct, turn on the brush rotation and start cleaning. Insert the hose into the air duct at a rate of about 1/2 to 1 foot per second. Now, if you're cleaning rectangular ductwork, you need to use the sweeping method to ensure that you're cleaning all sides of the ductwork. You will sweep the air duct by first inserting the brush and the hose all of the way down the duct line. Then reverse the brush rotation to cause the brush to travel towards the other side of the duct. Pull the brush back about 6 inches and then reverse the direction again. Repeat as needed to clean the length of the duct. Prior to removing the brush from any air duct, make sure you turn off the brush rotation. Move on to the other rooms and clean the remaining supply air ducts using the same process. Once you've cleaned all the supply air ducts, now you can move on to cleaning the return air ducts.
Okay, we're starting on the return side of the system now. And right here we have a return grill, which you're going to have either filtration systems in the ceilings or the walls or at the unit. This home here has them all in the ceilings and the walls, and you can see the bypass that you have here, which can be a symptom of the customer not changing out their filtration system. So you need to talk with them and see how often they change it. And typically you're going to have less returns than you will supplies in a home.
As with supply air ducts, first vacuum the return register as well as the boot area. Insert the brush with the vacuum on and engage the brush rotation. Again, insert the hose at a rate of about 1/2 to 1 foot per second. While removing the hose, make sure that you wrap it around the machine. This keeps the work area safe and orderly. This also prevents the hose and cable from binding, which can cause the cable to weaken or break.
Here's another return duct. And this is basically a wall chase. And what that consists of is sheetrock and 2x4s. This one's exceptionally large. And you won't use the Rotobrush in this application because of the size. You'll actually hand vacuum this duct. There are some wall chases that are narrow, about the width of a 2x4 with sheetrock, that you can use a Rotobrush on. The other thing you want to be careful of is this can be used as a conduit for other items such as wiring, or in this case, ducting from the second floor to the first floor. So just be careful when working around these items.
Next, we're moving on to cleaning the air handler, and where we're at here is we're actually in an attic, and this may be found, the air handler, in attics or crawl spaces or even basements in different parts of the country. But what the air handler does is it actually draws the air from the conditioned space, the dirty room air, brings it to the air handler itself and heats it, cools it, conditions it, dehumidifies it, humidifies it, and brings it back into the rooms throughout the home. Now, because of that, all the contaminants can load up in this air handling unit, And that's why it's important to make sure that we topically clean the air handler as well. And depending upon what your state licensing requirements are, will really dictate how much work you can do within the air handler. The coils itself is a breeding ground for microbial contaminants, and it also decreases the efficiency of the unit because of dander and dust and pollen and mold that could accumulate on the coils to decrease the efficiency. So getting in here and deep source cleaning the system really starts with taking apart the air handler. And to do this, what you want to do is start taking off the nuts here we have a 5/32 nut driver, and taking off the face plates. And then going in and using a shop vac attachment, whether it's with the Rotobrush itself and or using a separate shop vac that you can bring into the area and topically clean the components. Now, if you see a lot of accumulation throughout the system, this is probably a good time for you to actually refer this business right back to a licensed HVAC contractor that can deep source remove the contaminants within the system. And this is also a great opportunity for you to develop a relationship and networking with an HVAC contractor to refer business back and forth. Well, at the air handler, this is a great opportunity for you to inspect the ductwork throughout the system and look for any cracks and or tears and or ducts that are pulled away from the registers. And any mild repairs and minor repairs can be accomplished with aluminum foil tape. Aluminum foil tape is easy to use and apply. And if this improves the efficiency of the air handling unit, this would be a service that most homeowners would be happy to pay for.
Okay, we're on to fogging. Typically what we use for fogging is Envirocon. Okay, this is an antimicrobial fungostat deodorostat. And what this is ready to use, so you don't add water, there's no mixing. All you do is simply pour this into the fogger. And typically you want to put about 1/3 to 1/2 gallon in. Okay, if you put the whole gallon, you just got to carry around the weight, because each gallon is enough for about 10 to 12 jobs. And what you're going to do is go ahead and tighten down the lid, and now you're ready to fog. And typically the rule of thumb is 45 to 60 seconds per 1,000 square feet of room space is how long you'll fog through the return. And what you need to do is turn on the fan on the air handling system. Not heating, not cooling, just the fan only, and that's controlled by the thermostat itself. And so what you're going to do then is go to each return and simply take the fogger, and then you have an on-off switch here and then a valve here. And all you can do is turn this valve counterclockwise until you see a light mist. Once you see the light mist, 45 to 60 seconds per 1,000 square feet of room space. If you have multiple returns, you're going to divide that up between each return. Make sure you turn off the valve prior to turning off the motor to prevent spillage. Also, keep your chemicals in a climate-controlled environment to prolong the life. And the last thing we need to do is install the filter, close the door, and turn on the air handler.
When the cleaning's done, replace the registers, making sure that the direction of the louvers moves the air in the desired direction. Replace the filters and collect payment from the customer. Use this time as an opportunity to ask for referrals, as well as describe any other services you may provide.
And I've actually been able to...
Well, that about wraps it up. Now remember, you also have other resources available to you, like your owner's manual and our 24/7 tech support line. We sincerely appreciate your business, and we hope to see you at one of our certified air duct training courses. For Rotobrush, I'm Pat Hyland. Thanks for watching.